welcome to episode 238 of the AHRC Marathon Training Vlog. AK here with the rest of AHRC on an awesome Thursday morning recovery run with Hills Friends. What a great way to spend Thursday morning before school starts than with my AHRC family. Good to have Dwayne Young here from Hawaii, and Denny Young, Nita, Max, Cole, Haven, and Evan. I love it. It's almost like cheating. I get to work out and spend time with all my favorite people. So I feel like I have it easy. Today, I'm going to talk about how to fuel and hydrate for a 4:30 marathon, 4:45 marathon, or a 5-hour marathon. Those marathon times all require a pace between 10:17 and 11:26 per mile. 5 hours is a lot of time to spend on your feet, and during a marathon, when you're getting into the 4 to 5 hour mark, you're getting into a much later time in the day where the sun is higher, the temperatures are going to be higher as well, and you're going to lose more fluids through sweat and breathing. I emphasize breathing because you kind of don't realize how much fluids you're losing through your breath. I'll touch on that a little bit later when I talk about a case study involving my friend Marsha, who ran the California International Marathon just recently. Runners require anywhere between 30 to 60 grams of carbs per hour. With regards to nutrition, everybody has kind of different rates of digestion, different levels of gut tolerance, different rates of metabolism. So you're really going to have to dial that in. Just understand the range between 30 and 60 grams. It's always better to err on the side of too much, as long as your gut can handle it, and practice. There's no better substitute than practice. So every long run, take your gels. It's not a waste of calories, because taking the gels during your workouts will help with the recovery process and speed that up as well. So you'll benefit greatly. So my friend Marsha ran the California International Marathon, and she was doing pretty great for the first 15 miles or so, but wheels kind of fell off and she had a hard time, had to limp in, and she finished in just under 5 hours in 4:58 and change. Now, she did have some congestion and was a little bit under the weather before the day before the race started. So that can affect a little bit of the outcome, but I'll try to address that and talk about ways to kind of offset that negative impact. By around mile 7, Marsha was getting muscle aches. Marsha's a senior runner at just under 7 years of age, and she infrequently does have muscle aches. She said that it started kicking in at around mile 7 when she hadn't been experiencing muscle pain in a while. So this is a new thing. She also complained of a headache at around that time as well. So Marsha I'm led to believe that you're suffering from some dehydration even before the race started. It was a little warm at CIM, but not so warm that you'll start seeing symptoms of dehydration at mile 7. However, you have some congestion and your body's going to produce fluids that you will discharge, and you'll lose more fluids and contribute to the dehydration even though you're not running. You're also coughing, and through that respiration you're losing extra fluids, and you probably did not top off on fluids or make up for that during the days leading up to the race. So regardless of having an illness, always be sure to have line of sight on hydrating really well leading up to a race. A lot of times I know friends who are trying to shed a couple extra pounds and then just before a race and then toe the line a little bit dehydrated actually. It doesn't work out so well even though they are a little bit lighter. I'd rather carry my fluids in my nice water bottle right here. But yeah, just make sure that you're really well hydrated with electrolyte. Now if you take naked water, like just plain water with no sugars or no electrolytes, then you're most likely just to expel it out. So make sure it's in a form that you can absorb. So the biggest kind of eye test for me is just to look at my legs. If my legs look a little bit kind of drawn out or a little too vascular, then I know that I need to hydrate some more. So I just want to look a little soft, I guess, a little plump. I should be maybe a couple of pounds heavier than what I normally would be training at. This is for me, just to give you a reference point, I'm 145 pounds, so if I'm about 142 or 141 pounds during my build, because I always lose a little bit of weight, then I expect to be at around 143 or 144 pounds on race day morning. If you're fully hydrated, that means that you're pretty well carbed as well. You're holding a lot of glycogen in your muscles. All that is going to weigh a little bit more, but you'll consume all that during the run, so don't worry about the extra weight. Pam also mentioned in her race breakdown that she had to stop at mile 15 and had to vomit. Nausea is also a symptom of dehydration, and it's because your digestion slows down, and then once you have some gels and some fluids sloshing around in your stomach, and that nausea can lead to vomiting. It's a vicious cycle, because once you vomit, you'll be even more dehydrated, and it makes for the rest of that marathon, the rest of that hour and a half, pretty tough. So during a race, once you hit that threshold that tips you over into dehydration, there's really no recovery during the run. You're pretty much gonna have to suffer through it. So the only way to address it is really to ensure that you're not dehydrated during the marathon race. You know, we're long distance runners and we're always a little dehydrated, so we're kind of used to that kind of sluggish feeling, having tight legs. But what you need to kind of train your mind is that if I have tight legs on a long run, it means I'm dehydrated. So trust the training and hydrate better. You'll understand once you have enough hydration during long runs, you'll see the enormous amount of fluids that you're going to actually need during a race. And then taking small sips from a tiny little cup at aid stations is not going to cut it. Doesn't even come close to how much you're going to need to keep yourself hydrated during a marathon. Remember, if you run 18 or 20 miles and can finish it and you're dehydrated, that's okay because that's only 18 or 20 miles. It's not okay if you have to run 7 more miles and you need to be out in the sun for an hour and a half longer. So try to practice and finish your long runs with fresh legs. And in order to do that, you're going to have to hydrate during the long run. So if the hydration at aid stations isn't enough, the alternative is to carry your water. I finish a marathon in around 3 hours. So for me, the system that works is carrying a very large bike bottle. Finishing the bike bottle of hydration, I use half LMNT and half liquid IV. I like to mix it because the small amount of glucose in the liquid IV helps to absorb the water a lot more easily into my system. When I finish the large bike bottle of fluids by the half marathon point, I can then take hydration at aid stations, and that's enough to get me to the end of the marathon without cramping or getting dehydrated or feeling nauseous. On hot days, I need to do more. I'll stop at the aid stations and take 2 or 3 cups, and that'll get me to the end of the marathon without breaking down. So, Marsha, I recommend that you carry a bottle to start the race. Sip frequently at every mile and make sure you finish that bottle before you hit the half marathon point. And then after the half marathon, make sure to use the run-walk method. Stop at every aid station, take good drinks at every aid station, maybe 2 to 3 cups, and walk through the aid station, and you will find that you'll have fresher legs towards the end of the marathon, and you won't lose that much time even though you're walking through the aid stations. I walked the LA marathon because of a chest infection in 3 hours and 4 minutes, so it really didn't add a whole lot of time to my end marathon result. So Marsha, practice hydrating on long runs. Develop a lifestyle where you stay hydrated on a regular basis and leading up to marathon race day, and figure out a hydration strategy during the race so that you get plenty of fluids that match or equal the amount that you normally take in on those practiced long runs. I hope you find this talk helpful about running a sub 5-hour marathon with the proper fueling and hydration. Please give this video a like, help out the algorithm. Smash that subscribe button for us, it really helps out the channel. I'm going to go in and rest my tired legs and enjoy the rest of this day. I hope you have a great day and a meaningful run. We'll see you in the next one. All right, bye now.